let's talk about it. How are you, Scott? How's it going?
I am awesome, Jimmy. Thank you
Nice.
for inviting me to be on your podcast.
Thank you for having me. So, Scott, we're talking about how we can save money.
Yep.
So before we talk about how can we save money, who is Scott Fisher?
Wow. A lot of levels to that question. But Scott Fisher is the owner of Seal Power LLC. We are an energy efficiency consultancy. We work with New Jersey's utility programs, and we bring these incentives to homeowners across New Jersey.
Okay. So incentives, that's important. Key
Yes.
word. Everybody loves to save money, right? And you're the right person for it, right?
Well, there's a lot that people don't know. There's a lot of incentive out there right now. This is an amazing time to be a homeowner in the state of New Jersey. There is a record-breaking amount of incentive money that's available to homeowners, and that's really what I wanted to be here to talk about today.
Okay. So what are some of the incentives when it comes to using your value and the products that you provide?
Well, one thing, we're just coming into April now, so everybody's got taxes on their mind. The federal government, just starting last year in 2023, announced a new set of tax credits that are available to homeowners for installing upgrades in their home. So over the next 10 years, homeowners can potentially draw down on $32,000 worth of tax credits to improve their house, things that they were going to do anyway.
Wow.
Upgrade windows, doors, heating systems, things like that.
Right.
In addition, New Jersey's utility companies are also offering up to $5,000 in cash back and up to $15,000 in zero interest on bill repayment. So these two things, when paired together, mean homeowners can make very significant upgrades, not only this year, but for the next 9 years, up to $3,200 a year in tax credit.
$3,200
$3,200 a year.
Saving. You know what I can do with $3,200?
And it's not just a deduction, it's an actual credit. So if you owe $5,000 to the IRS,
Right.
and you've paid in $7,000 from your income, but you installed these qualifying improvements that got you a $3,000 credit. So now you're going to get a check back for that's $5,000 towards your tax bill because you paid in $7,000, you had a qualifying expenditure that got you $3,000, and now you're going to get that back in the form of a check in the mail from the IRS.
Wait a minute. So the IRS is mailing you something back, and you can do whatever you want with it to apply towards whatever you got going on, which is a savings.
You've essentially improved your home. You've
Right.
either upgraded your heating system, upgraded your hot water system. You've installed new windows, new doors. There's all sorts of different things that are eligible products that can go through this, that are eligible for this tax credit. But the credit's a credit. So they'll give you up to 30% of the cost, up to $600 per year for windows, up to $1,200 per year for insulation and high efficiency heating systems. Right. Up to another $2,000 on top of that for heat pumps. So they're crazy.
I can attest to that, right? Because when I changed my windows, I had the old windows, and I updated to I think it was not Anderson, the other one, Pella. I ended up with Pella windows. My energy bill went.
Did it really?
It saved me so much money. The gas,
That's great.
I was like gas and electric, because we got things running on with the central air and the heating.
Sure.
I saved so much money. But now we're talking about my windows, but you have more to it because of some of the things that you're offering.
Yeah.
Can you expand on that a little bit, Scott?
Sure. The utility companies in New Jersey are really trying to incentivize you to make your home more energy efficient. So right now in New Jersey, the PSE&G, JCP&L, New Jersey Natural Gas, they all have a version of a program called the Home Performance with Energy Star program.
The Home Performance Energy Star program.
Yep.
Okay.
Just like the Energy Star that's on your dishwasher and your washing machine and your dryer and all of that stuff, they have a program for existing homes that helps to make them more energy efficient. The program prioritizes the improvements that are going to give you the biggest bang for the buck.
Okay.
And the utilities each have a version of that program that they offer to homeowners here in the state. Now, a lot of people think, incentive program, I'm not going to qualify. There's all kinds of red tape and stuff like that. There's always a catch.
Oh my God, they're going to get my numbers. They're going to send me this number and call that, yada, yada, yada.
This program is very straightforward. It's a holistic program. So it starts with somebody coming into your house, taking a look around. They collect a bunch of information. We enter that information into some software that's provided to us by the utility companies, and that software allows us to model different improvements against the way that your house is today.
Okay.
So say you replaced your windows, but say you only have a few inches of insulation in your attic. Well, the software allows us to model what happens if Jimmy adds another 12 inches of insulation up in his attic. What is the projected energy efficiency benefit of that going to be? So we can tell you, we can calculate exactly what that percentage, that projection looks like.
That's so important right there.
And not only that, but that projection is what dictates the amount of incentive money that's available to you through these programs.
So all I have to do is give you my time.
Yep. All you have to do is undergo something called a home energy audit, where that's where that person goes in and takes a look around and does a bunch of measurements. They also do a bunch of safety testing because we don't want to seal and insulate, Jimmy's home when maybe his heating system was backdrafting or maybe there was a gas leak or something like that.
Right.
So we check all this stuff and then we enter all that information. We have an engineer that enters all that information into some software. We put together a report for you that goes through each of the different systems in your home. We let you know which one is efficient or not efficient. And then from there, we put together a list of recommendations. What are the most significant things I can do to my house to make it more efficient, in a meaningful way?
Right.
Right? Because your house is different from everybody else.
Yeah.
You've had improvements done. Some people haven't. Well, that report will include all the pricing on those improvements, and it'll include the specific incentives that are available to you through the utility program.
So keyword I think you mentioned right now, you talked about an engineer.
Yes.
Right. Someone who has met credentials to speak to this product. Because
That's right.
then you're satisfying what you're providing, and the client is ensured that someone is doing right by them.
Yes.
That's
100%.
important, right? Because sometimes, we get these calls, Scott.
Yeah.
Someone's calling us, we can save you some money. You got 2 minutes, you got 3 minutes, you got 4 minutes, because I'll call you right back. And then they do that trick again. And then they somehow magically you get a text and that follows up with it, right? So how do we feel? Like, my thing is, not how do we feel, but you giving us that insurance with someone, a professional being an engineer in that subject field, definitely would give more credibility to them installing this product if they have to.
Yeah. And it's one of the benefits of participating in this program is that there are safeguards built in at every level. Okay. Number one, we need to be accredited through an organization called the Building Performance Institute. We don't just come in and make up how to do this energy audit. Like they've laid down the instructions of what that we have to follow of how this process gets done.
Right.
From there, it's the utility companies that are offering this program and offering these incentives. So they want to make sure that the work that we're doing is verified. So we do the initial audit. Then if you do any upgrades, there's no obligation to do anything. But if you do install some upgrades, then we have to come back and do a verification audit. So we measure the difference between what the house was in the beginning and what the house is now. So we actually can pinpoint what those numbers are and that percentage reduction.
Which makes sense, right? Because
Absolutely.
you have to see what you're talking about in order to apply whatever that's needed.
100%.
Right? Okay.
Yep.
So when you mentioned that, no, so there are stages behind that, right?
Yes.
We just talked about the 2 stages, right? The before and after, right? They give you the differences. Now, is there a cost to having this done?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
So there is a cost. It's either $49 or $99 for the energy audit, depending on where you live.
Did you say $49?
Yeah, that's discounted. We have our regular rate is $299, but we have either a $49 or a $99 promotional rate. Okay. And it gets better. Part of that tax credit is that if you undergo the energy audit, you can there's a tax credit just for undergoing the energy audit. So the IRS will reimburse you for up to 30% of the cost with a maximum out of pocket of $150. So that's one of the tax credits that's now available. So that $99 audit, now you're going to get a little over $27 credited back towards your taxes. And if you do the work through the company, we'll credit back that amount for you.
So in other words, you're talking about saving money, and making your house more efficient.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
But the most powerful part of this program is that it lowers the amount of out-of-pocket expense that your household will need to come up with to make these very meaningful improvements. So let's say, for example, your house, you're gonna upgrade your heating system and you're gonna have your attic insulated and then a couple of other things. And let's say, I have no idea, I've never seen your house, but let's say that's $20,000. That total job is $20,000, and you live in an older home, and this is going to give you a big projected energy efficiency gain. The way that the program works, you qualify for that $5,000 worth of cash back. Well, that comes right off the top, so your $15,000 is what's remaining.
Correct.
And then that $15,000 goes on to a 0 interest on bill repayment through PSE&G. And that gets split over 10 years. So it's a little over $100 a month or whatever that is. Okay. And now your house is using a third of the energy that it once did. So now your energy bills in the winter and summer have dropped significantly. So your payment for that $100, isn't necessarily $100 out of pocket.
No.
It's proportionally lower.
Towards the PSC&G, whatever electricity energy you're using.
Exactly.
So the fact is that you're handcuffed to your local provider, which would be JCP&L or PSC&G, right? So
Yeah.
there are some security contingencies there for you, so you don't feel like anything is being mishandled, right? Because I'm pretty sure. And are you also following up with annual reviews of how much they're saving? Because some people like to see that sometimes, right?
Good question. We haven't started doing that yet.
Okay.
But we are putting in place things that whereby for the next 10 years we can stay in touch with people, because this credit is renewable every year. So the tax credit is $3,200 a year, and if you don't take it, you lose it. Like, it's use it or lose it. I used to have a flexible spending account at work, and every year
Always have, I always
right?
lose. I'm like, I'm holding on, right? But you're saying energy is being saved. It's right there. You just have to tap into it.
Well, just like in the flexible spending account, where we would save 20 or 30% on the cost because it was tax-free money that we were using to pay for the expense. Each year, we'd have to figure out how much money we were going to spend on medical, vision, dental, daycare expenses, all of that stuff.
Right.
And we'd fill out the form.
Yeah, I remember those days.
Yep. Each year, that money would be divided over the number of pay periods and taken out from your check. Well, this is the first time you have to think strategically about the home improvements that you're going to install if you really want to maximize the tax benefit that's available to you. Because this benefit is $3,200 a year. If you don't use it, you lose it. And if you use it, if you have all of your windows in your house replaced in 1 year, well, it's only 30% of the cost, up to $600 for windows.
Right.
So you sort of left that remaining money on the table. So you really want to think carefully about how you're going to do these improvements over the next through 2032, which improvements you want to do, when you want to do them. Maybe right now is a great time to get the shell of your home insulated and air sealed. Right. There's some new programs coming online in 2025 that are going to help replace heating and air conditioning systems and help homeowners decarbonize, if that's something that they're interested in. That's going to become a big buzzword. You're going to start to hear a lot about that.
Okay.
Yep. So electrify your home, and then later in this period of time, you could start to consider new doors. You could start to consider renewable energy. There's a whole host of tax credits that went through with this Inflation Reduction Act that are going to be available to homeowners.
Inflation Reduction Act.
Yes,
that's important. When did this happen?
It was passed in 2022. The benefit took effect in 2023. So people who had qualifying improvements installed last year and are just now filing their taxes should just double check that they took this deduction, because it wasn't there. It was there in a much less meaningful way. It was up to $500, not up to $3,200.
Wow, that's a huge savings.
Yeah.
That's a huge savings. So someone like myself, right? So I'd be saving a lot more because I'm a Tesla driver.
Me too.
So it's all about saving, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this, again, you're saving plenty. You're saving just enough to do other things with your money, right? Instead of throwing your money out the window, right?
And when did you buy your Tesla?
I bought my Tesla 3 years ago. I didn't get that tax credit.
Okay.
Elon, but I am upset at Elon because he gave others tax credit on the same car that I have. But it's what it is. I should have brought the stock.
He lowered the price too.
I know. He devalued what I paid so much into.
I know.
I'm going to send him an email. I'm going to X him or whatever, his new platform, right? All that good stuff. So, again, how do I work with a lot of realtors?
Sure.
How do I communicate this opportunity for home buyers? Because themselves talk to a lot of home buyers, and they're always talking about, before I buy this, is there a way I can save a couple of dollars? And we have this. So how do I communicate that to my partners?
It's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to come onto your show. Your audience is a lot of real estate professionals. They're people that are interacting. They're having these conversations with homeowners. And as that trusted professional, you want to be a student of your profession. You want to be able to if you're selling a home to somebody and it's an older home, right. A lot of people, are buying homes that haven't had a lot of upgrades because the market has been so strong and the inventory has been so low that they may be in a position where there's a lot of work that needs to be done to that home, where maybe the house is very old or very inefficient, or maybe that heating and air conditioning system have reached the end of its life expectancy.
That does happen.
No, I'm sure it happens, probably, every day.
Right.
So these are tools that your client can use to make the house, make these improvements when they take possession of the house, right? So they've purchased the home. They need to make these repairs. They're going to make these repairs one way or the other. These incentives allow them to use some of the best equipment that's on the market today. It lowers very significantly the amount of, if not completely, the amount of out-of-pocket cost that customer needs to come up with to make that improvement. So just like the example for your home, if it's a $20,000 improvement and they qualify for the top tier of incentives, they don't have to come out of pocket with a nickel.
No.
They've got the mortgage, they've got their new house, maybe they have a new family, ends are tight, because they're really trying to be
homeowners, right?
They're new homeowners. Right. They're just starting their life together. And so at that point, money's not growing on trees in your life. And I don't know that it ever does,
No.
but
not my tree.
but that is making these very significant upgrades much more accessible to a much broader swath of people. But the issue is now a lot of people don't know that these programs are out there. So thank you for giving me the forum to come on here and talk about that.
Yeah, it's important, right? Look, it's all about saving money. You just got to save money. I mean, things are adding up, and we're talking about, we have all these subscriptions and we pay it no mind, and it's just what it is, right? And then you see your monthly bill, you're like, wow, what happened? You didn't cancel your subscription. Scott, you're talking about, you're getting efficiency, you're modernizing your home in some type of a way, right? And you're bringing down your cost. Why wouldn't you do it? And you're getting credit for it because there's a bill that just passed in 2020 and now is established in 2022, right? Am I right?
Yeah.
So I can make the case, all you got to give up is your time.
Yep.
To have someone come in. And you did mention you have someone, a true professional coming into your home, doing the measurements, taking what is needed to ensure you save money.
Yeah. Yep. And there's no obligation to move forward with anything. You undergo the energy audit. At the worst case scenario, you wind up with a roadmap of the different improvements that will have the biggest impact on your home. Best case scenario, you start to participate in some of these incentive programs that are available through the utility companies, and those incentive programs are only going to get better. They operate on these 3-year windows, right? So PSE&G's window was supposed to have come up at the end of June of this year. They pushed it out a little bit to the end of the year. So their new programs are going to come online in 2025.
Okay.
And those programs are, put it this way, for that 3-year window, PSE&G's budget was $1 billion. That's how much money they've set aside for homeowners in New Jersey. The next set of programs is, the proposed budget is $3 billion. And on top of that, there's a whole bunch of federal money that's now going to be injected into these programs as a result of the Inflation Reduction Act. Wow. So there has literally never been a better time to be a homeowner in the state of New Jersey who's looking to make improvements to an older home.
Yeah, we're forcefully asking many to go green now. I mean, some people like it, that's an opinion, but if you're going green, the government has incentives for you.
Yeah, whether you're going green or not, you're going to need these systems in your home, right? You still need to heat your home. You still need air conditioning. You still need insulation. You still need windows and doors, and mechanically, your home operates on these different systems. So there is the benefit of going green, yes, but there's also the obligation of being a homeowner and the regular maintenance that needs to be done on your home and the regular life cycle of these different pieces of equipment. Yes, I mean, it's an incredible time for people who are advocates of the environment and who want to decarbonize and want to see these programs succeed. But regardless of the politics behind there, as a homeowner, there's stuff that just has to get done. There's systems that need to be replaced. And why not use the money that's been allocated for this purpose, to do it? Right.
And Scott, going back to what you were saying, right? Given the fact that our communication bill is so expensive today, if you can save money someplace else, why not be through energy?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Wow. So Scott, when you're geeking out on all this stuff, energy savings,
I can do
and
this
savings,
all
and
day,
make it all day, right? What are some of the things you like to do outside of when you're not talking about saving people money?
Yeah, I am one of those folks that you talked about that enjoys the environment and being outdoors and
well dressed.
Thank you. Technology is a big hobby of mine. I'm really watching all this AI stuff, and we've put a lot of different things into our business that are really trying to move us forward and make us more efficient and allow us to do more with less. There's a whole bunch of different. I love making wine. You know, that's one of my biggest hobbies is I love to make wine. Right now, I have a bunch of barrels of wine that are you know, approaching a point where I can start to put them in a bottle. So in the meantime, I have to drink other people's wine, but I can't wait to put mine in a bottle.
Nice, nice. I gotta ask Mr. Wonderful Kevin O'Leary.
Yes.
To do a taste test by you to see how good it is. You know, I can try it. So I know better because I know what I'm doing, right? The way he speaks. Am I doing it wrong? I probably am doing it. But again, that's kind of cool. Some of the things you're doing. So, Scott, thank you so much for coming on Let's Talk About It to give my clients, my viewers, whoever's listening, how to save money, because more than ever, savings is important.
Yeah, more than ever.
Thank you, Scott.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jim.
Bye-bye.